have some questions prepared for you guys here, and I'm going to be sending them in the chat right now. Here. Okay. Just a second. No funcionó. Let me do it again. Copy, paste. Okay. I'm going to have to copy the questions in a different way. If you guys could just give me a second. Okay. I'm going to send them in 2 packs. One with the questions from 1 to 10, and the other one with the questions from 11 to 16. Did everyone receive? Can you guys see the questions in the chat?
Yeah.
Yes.
Awesome. That's pretty cool. So here, let me just explain quickly. I know most of you guys are already here used to TNT, but let me just explain because we have a new person here tonight. So we have pretty much 3 rules here on TNT. Rule number 1 is this session right here, it's not a class. This is an immersion, which means we're not here to teach you anything. We're here to learn with each other by observing how people speak and learn organically, naturally. Okay, so that's rule number 1. That's not a class. Rule number 2 is, since this is not a class, we avoid correcting people because correcting usually makes a little awkward situation. So we usually avoid correcting people. Okay, if people ask for help, you're welcome to help, but let's avoid making corrections. And number 3 is that's a space for everyone to feel safe, make friends, and have fun. So let's be respectful to one another. Okay. We usually, when we have more people, we separate people in rooms because then everyone gets the time to speak. But since people felt a little lazy tonight to participate, it's only us here in the main room. So we're all going to participate in here. Okay. And something I just remembered, if you're participating on the free plan, know that TNT's always been for free, and it's probably going to be for free forever, so you can continue on participating. But if you want to participate in all the immersions, the classes, get material, and participate in a WhatsApp group exclusive just for students, you can join the Pro plan as well, which I promise you is not that expensive, okay? So I'm going to send you the link for you guys here in the chat too. If you guys want to take a look after the immersion, it's going to be pretty great. Okay, so let's start here by introducing ourselves. Samia, could you introduce yourself to us, please?
Okay, so my name is Samia and I'm from Teresina, Piauí. I'm 28. I'm an English student. I study English at university. And I'm here because I want to practice more my speaking skills. And also, I want to meet new people. So nice to meet you guys.
Awesome, that's pretty cool. Okay, can you choose a person to answer next?
Okay, Newton, can you introduce yourself, please?
Okay. My name is Newton. I was born in Minas Gerais and live in São Paulo until last year. Now I'm living in Rio Grande do Norte, Bahia Formosa, near Natal. And I'd like to be here in order to practice my English, to train, and to make new friends too.
Very good. That is awesome. First of all, go Minas. Woo! I'm Mineiro too.
Okay.
And let me ask you a question. Do you miss the cheese? Because Jesus Christ, I've been missing cheese so much.
Yes, I love.
I miss cheese from Minas so much.
Where are you now, teacher?
Now I'm in São Paulo.
Ah,
I'm in São Paulo State.
Oh, yes, that's São Paulo.
Great.
Yeah.
Now, Newton, could you please choose the next person to introduce themselves?
I can't see the others participants in fact.
Oh, it's probably because in your configuration, you can't see people with the camera off. But we have right now Davi and Raissa. You can choose one of them.
Okay, David.
Oh, nice, Milton.
Nice.
So I'm Davi. I'm from São Paulo. This is my first class. So nice to meet you guys, and I'm glad to be here and participating with you. So I'm looking for improving my English for business, for working, to I can get more opportunities in my business, in my job. So this is all.
Okay.
Really great. Awesome. Now, what about you, Raissa? Could you please introduce yourself to us?
Okay, my name is Raissa. I live in Feira de Santana, Bahia. Now I have 28 years old and I study system development.
That is great. That's pretty awesome. Okay, it's nice to have all of you guys here. In case you guys don't know me, my name is Junior, as it says down here. I'm 20 years old. I'm an English teacher. I've been an English teacher for almost 3 years now. I come from Minas Gerais. I'm living now here in Hortolândia, São Paulo. And that's pretty much it. I've been here on TNT. In 3 days, I complete 2 years of TNT. Yeah, it's been a pretty wild ride.
Congrats.
Thank you. My first time here on TNT, I was shaking. I was like, oh my God, I'm going to speak English with strangers. What am I going to do? But it was pretty fun. And I hope you guys had as much fun as I did. Okay. Now let's start working with question number 1. Remembering that we're talking tonight about adoption. So, Raissa, how is adoption viewed in your country, here in our country? For you, how is adoption viewed?
Okay, for me, I think it's common. I think it's common, but I think we Brazilians have a little, I don't know, speak preconceito English. But I think this type of action is common in Brazil.
What about Awesome. What about you, Samia? How do you think adoption is viewed in our country?
Yeah, I agree with Raissa. I think there are a lot of family in Brazil who wants to adopt a child, but I think most part of them prefer like adopting a young child, like babies. And there are a lot of teenagers, they don't have opportunity to have a new family. So I think that's the sad side of adoption. I think not only here in Brazil, but this is something pretty common around the world. When it comes about adoptions. The other day I was watching a movie called Stand Family, and is about adoption, and they were saying like this, like the teenager, they don't have, the chance are minimum, of them getting adopted for a family, by a family.
Got it. Okay. What about you, David? How do you think adoption is viewed in our country?
So, in my opinion, Brazilians, so in general, don't see adoption like just a choice. So more people go to adoption because those that can't be I don't know how to use the better words, but I think this is seem like a needed and not just a choice. So isn't it so common just a family who doesn't want to have a baby and just choose to go to adoption. So families who go to adoptions go because they can't have a baby generate in their own. So I think this is a vision on Brazil in general, but I don't think this is correct. But I don't know. It's just.
Right. And what about you, Newton? How do you think people see adoption in our country? Newton, if you're there, your microphone is off. Okay. Your microphone is closed, so we can't hear you. But if you're having trouble to open, you can send us a message on the chat, okay? In the chat. Okay. Guess he's having trouble. He might try to enter again. Okay. I do think, as you guys said, that adoption usually in Brazil is not viewed as a primary option or as something like, oh, no, I rather adopting children than having my own children. It's usually something people do when they don't have another option, like can't have my own children, so then I'm gonna adopt. I also think that in Brazil, we don't have a lot of people that adopt as like thinking about the children, like, oh no, I want to adopt a child to give a home to a child. They usually adopt because they want a child, you know. So like, oh,
Yes.
it's usually not thinking about the children. I think that's very bad, right?
Yes, I think this is a good point. This point is new for me because I think they people think only in yourselves, don't think in the kids.
Exactly. Because think of it, a lot of people, they think they want children, then they have children, and then discover that they didn't want to have children.
Yes.
But then imagine if it's an adopted child, you know, because there are many cases where adopted childs, they are given back to adoption. So I think there's a really serious matter to be taught.
Yes.
Now, David, do you know anyone who has been adopted, who was adopted?
Yeah. So my uncle-in-law, so he has adopted a baby, and it was really lazy, the whole processes. So it's take place in only about 5 years to she, and you really could take the child and then finish the whole adoption assessment. And the baby is really so cute.
So it took 5 years to complete the process?
Yeah. Almost 5 years. 5 years. So, I'm afraid I'm not, but 5 years is the limit in Brazil for process to finish, so that a family doesn't need to start the process and start again. So it takes almost 5 years to all process to conclude and the child to be in a family.
But in this period, was he already with the family, or was he still in the foster home?
So she is a single mother. So she wants to a child. So it takes place in almost 5 years to take the child and bring to home.
Oh, got it. Yeah, that's a long period. Okay. And can you think of any famous people that were adopted? I know there are some, but I can't remember right now.
I really don't remember a name.
Neither do I. Okay. What about you, Newton? Can you talk to us now?
Okay, I had a problem with audio.
No problem.
Your first question was about the adoption here in Brazil, isn't it?
Yeah, what do you think about the way people view adoption in Brazil?
I think people in Brazil, in general, people like to adopt. I know many friends that adopt a child, and sometimes I know about people that had problems with the judge, and they tried to adopt a child, and they normally judges they make a lot of problems to people adopt a child.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So you do know a lot of people that were adopted, at least some people that were adopted, right?
Yeah, I know some people that adopt a child.
That's nice. What about you, Samia? Do you know anyone who was adopted?
Yeah, a friend of mine, she was adopted by a great family because she grew up in an environment that was really bad for a child. I think she was also unfortunately abused when she was younger. And that's why she left. You know, the authorities took her, you know, out of that family she was in, and then she went to an institution. Then she found a good family that who took care of her, and now she's a beautiful woman, you know, and a good friend for me. So yeah, I know this girl. And about the second question, I can't think of anyone famous who was adopted.
I know there are, you know, sometimes we saw some news like, oh, this famous person was adopted, but I don't remember any. What about you, Heisa? Do you know anyone who was adopted? Like, can you think of any famous people that were?
Yes, they existe of my ex-boyfriend is adopted. And I don't remember, I think Steve Jobs is adopted. I don't know. Sounds similar. I don't remember well. But I know, like, sobre celebridades. And I don't know. I confuse my response. So I know one person, yeah, is adopted, the sister of my ex-boyfriend, and I think Steve Jobs. I don't know. Sure.
I just saw here he was adopted. Steve Jobs was adopted. Nice. I didn't know about that. Just getting some other examples here. But Nelson Mandela was also adopted. He was also an adopted person. And then Roosevelt, she was also adopted. John Hancock, some other people, like famous people. Nice. Okay. Now, here, from question number 3. Oh, apparently Marilyn Monroe too. I didn't know about that. Oh. Okay. Now, how do you guys think, Heisa, how does being adopted affect a child's view of themselves?
I don't know if I know the response about this question. I think it's a hard question. I like Steve Jobs. I think your people generally speaking about Steve Jobs is not they is adopted. I think this make I don't know.
Okay, if you don't know, there's no problem.
A little lost. Yeah.
No problem. Okay.
Okay.
Could you choose a person to answer next?
Please. Yeah.
Okay, so I think we might have different situation, for example, for someone who was abandoned, I think for them, I don't know, maybe it could be something good or not. It depends on each person, what they feel, and what about what they have been through, so it depends the situation. So I think for someone who was abandoned, I think it's I don't know, maybe really really tough. Sometimes you get yourself thinking about, okay, who was my biological family and why they do that, why do they did this to me, why they abandoned me. So questions like these ones might come to their minds. For example, for other children, maybe being adopted is something really good. For example, in my friend's case, she was in an environment that was really bad for her. So for some people might be like something, freedom. So they might, okay, now I'm not in this bad situation anymore. So now I have a family, they feel they feel like being at home with an adopted family. So I think we might have different situation and different views. It depends on the situation.
Okay.
And Newton.
Okay. I think for a person that is adopted, it's a chance to have a new opportunity, to have a new life, to be in home, the future. I think that's a nice thing for a person that's adopted, a new opportunity in life.
Great. That's awesome. And what about you, David? How do you think does being adopted affect a child's view of themselves?
Okay. So I think that what really affects a child is the effect of not being adopted. So being adopted isn't the real question, right? But despite that, I've been watching a TV series calling Precisa, that we have Randall, and a black guy adopted, who says that the fact that being adopting has pushing him, I don't know how to say this, but had put him under pressure to be the better child due to the fact of being adopted. So he has made many efforts to not be looked down, right? So he has put a lot of efforts in studies, in working to be the better child, to be and not to be I don't know what to say, but to be taken in a place of and not look it down. Okay.
Yeah, I guess there's this, as Samia said, there are many situations, right? The fact of being adopted, not the act of being adopted in sí, but the fact of being an adopted child, there's a lot of, for this child to think, like sometimes who are if I know who my real parents were, why did they leave me? In the case of a child that was taken from their home because of abuse or because of bad living situations, this might be a relief, but it doesn't change the fact that this person had parents and he was taken away from his parents. Even if they weren't good parents, there's still connection, because when we are kids, we don't understand, right? Even if our parents are doing bad stuff to us, we still think of them as our parents. So, there's this part. There is the part of children that don't know the parents and they have no idea why they were left for adoption. And actually, after you are adopted, it can do a very good for a child's self-esteem and the way they view themselves. For being chosen, just like David said, the act of not being, if you're in a shelter for kids and you're not being adopted, and I think that also has a very negative impact, because you see children, leaving the house, and you see people coming and adopting other people, and then it's probably not very good for them, for their self-esteem, because they might start thinking that they are not being adopted because they're not good enough. And also there's this thing, I've known some adopted people. Had a student, he was an adopted kid, and he was always under a lot of pressure about not telling this to other people, because he felt very vulnerable. And overall, the view of people, like, we don't have a lot of prejudice. Like, okay, it's okay to adopt. It's a very nice thing. But we also do. So when people say, oh, this child is adopted, and people already start looking kind of weird, especially adults, you know, and some other kids, they don't understand very well. So they make jokes and they might do bullying. So this boy, he was under a lot of pressure of, I don't know if I should tell to my friends that I'm adopted. I want to, but I don't. But I don't know if I should. And he was always, as Avi said, he had this pressure of like proving himself that he was worth it, that he was worth being with his family, that he was not a bad child. So he studied a lot. He was very well behaved. And actually, a very sad thing happened, that when he decided to tell his best friend that he was adopted, this best friend started doing some bullying with him, you know. So it was quite sad, the whole story. But I think that it can change, it can affect a lot the way a person sees themselves. For some people, it doesn't, you know. For some people, they just find a way to deal with it easily. But for some other people, it can be pretty overwhelming, this thing. Okay. Now, I'm going to skip some questions in here. And I want to ask you guys question number 6. What do you guys think about the adoption system in Brazil? Do you guys think we have a good system, a bad system, a regular system?
I think it's a little bureaucratic. We need a lot of time for adaptation, the process.
Yes. Okay, so what? David was going to say something? Go ahead.
Oh, so I'm afraid to answer that because I don't know how the words works about this matter. So despite of the bureaucracy that we have in a lot of places, in a lot of process in Brazil, we know how adoption it's really difficult decision, and how this brings us responsibility. So I think that the process, it's a process that brings responsibility to the parents-in-law or the parents, so that they prevent, this can prevent the give up in the future.
Yes, that actually makes sense. Like, in a longer process, but it takes more time. The parents have more time to settle in and decide if that's what they want or not.
Yeah. It's not like a simple just take a dog. Yeah. Isn't that?
Yeah. Yes. Okay. What do you think, Newton? What do you think about the adoption system in our country?
I think, as I said, I know people that had a lot of problems to finish the adoption. A friend of mine, he said to me that he was, and I don't know if the right word, humiliated by the judge. The judge said to him, you have no conditions, why you want to adopt? And he was so nervous with the judge. He was so nervous and that he almost lost the patience with the judge, something like that. He was so nervous because the judge he said to him, you having any conditions to adopt? Why you want to adopt? Something like that. And it was a difficult time for him. But how can I say? In the finish of the time, he adopted the girl. He won this difficult with the judge, and he adopted the girl. Just it's a beautiful story about this adoption.
It really is. But I mean, there's no reason, it's good to make sure that the child is going to a good home, that the parents have conditions to raise these children and to give them good stuff. But there's no reason to humiliate a person like that in court,
Yes, I agree with you. Yeah.
Especially because the person has a good intentions. Doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Did you answer, Samir? What do you think about our adoption system?
Well, I don't know what to say because I don't know the adoption system, but I hope this system can be a good system, that helps children to find a real family, make them feel at home, so I hope the system could help those children to find a real home, so to help them.
I don't know a lot about the adoption system either. I do know some stuff because I've been in touch with teachers that help in shelter houses and with people that already worked in the shelters for kids. And also people from church, we used to do some works with kids in these places. So I wouldn't say it's a bad system, there are cases, and there's always going to be cases all around the world of some places that are not good for the kids and the kids are abused and this kind of stuff. But overall, it's a decent system. It's very bureaucratic and it takes too long sometimes, and most of the time, a lot of times people that really want, they are not granted the right to adopt a child, if sometimes for reasons that are not that important, but I think that one problem of the adoption system in Brazil is that some people that really want to adopt, they can't, and some other people that they are not really interested and they just adopt for adopting, they end up being able to. I've heard a lot of cases of children that were adopted by parents that didn't want them. They just wanted, because in some cases, when you adopt, you can get help, financial help from the government for adopting a child. So I've heard from cases of parents that adopted children just because of the money, just to get money from the government. So that's not really cool. And it doesn't make much sense, given that some people that really want to adopt children, they have a hard time. So I don't know. It's not that bad, but I guess could improve. Nice. Now, here. Question number 10. Should people be able to decide what type of children they want to adopt? For example, if they want a boy or girl, if they want a blonde child, a red-haired child, a brunette child, if it's going to be a baby, a teenager, if it's going to have red eye, green eye, blue eye. I don't think red eye exists, but okay. Do you guys think that people should or not be able to decide the kid they're going to adopt?
Not. I think this limits the possibilities. I don't agree with you. I don't agree. I think the people need to receive all of a child.
What do you think, Milton? Do you think people should be able to decide what type of children they want to adopt? Can you hear us, Newton?
Oh, with me? Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. I think people have to be freedom to adopt, like they want. Even though I think we have to be a conscious that to adopt with freedom, but with a conscience that everyone have to have an opportunity. Everyone. But I think that people have to be free to adopt, but with conscience that everyone needs to be opportunity to be adopted.
Great. That's awesome. What about you, David? What do you think?
We was talking about bureaucracy, and I think that limited the parents to choose. It's something more bureaucracy, more limiting the decision. So I'm thinking that the parents has been able to decide a child, so something who maybe a child who looks like them, or a child who they have dream. So in the same way, I think that the child have to be the child have to be able to decide to the family. So I think that it's a dual way. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Great. Yeah, because it's not only like you're ready to adopt, you're ready to accept the children, but there needs to be connection, you know. So not only by physical appearance, but then also for personality, you know, like for finding a person that is going to get along with you and the person you're married to, with the couple, with the adoptive parents and the adoptive family. Because if you if you can really choose and you just given a random child, this person might not fit in your family because there are different kinds of people, different kinds of family, personality, tastes, and everything. So I think it's kind of difficult to limitate that. And also it's a lot more bureaucracy. So I think people should be able to decide, but as Newton said, with responsibility and understanding that everyone deserves a chance and that everyone deserves a chance to have a family. What about you, Sarah? Do you think people should be able?
I don't see anything wrong with this situation, but I do think that people need to be taught that there are a lot of things more important than that. Like you said, I think it's more about connection. So they need to understand that when they are about to adopt a kid, So I think they need to start thinking about that, But again, I think there's nothing wrong with this, If you want to have a girl, a boy, I don't think that this is something wrong. But I think there's more things important than that.
Great. Okay, now for us to finish, I'm gonna jump to question number 13. Would you ever adopt a child? You were the last one to, because when I saw the topic of the conversation here, I was like, Jesus Christ, I've always wanted to adopt. That's a decision I made when I was younger, when I turned 18. And every year I think about it again and again and again. And adopting is still a wish I have. But I was surprised because that's something I've been wanting to do for a long time. And I never talked about it on TNT. So I would adopt a child. That's something I actually want to do in the future. I just, want to have a more stable life. Not living a one-bedroom kitchenette. That's not exactly ideal to have a child. What about you, Samuel? Would you ever adopt a child?
Yeah, I want. I have been thinking about that. Actually, a couple of years ago, I set this goal that when I turn 27, I will be adopting a kid. But now I'm 28, and then I'm not ready for that. I think the same as you. I think I need to have my own house, because I still live with my parents, and also I need to be ready, like emotional intelligent. I think I'm not ready to take care of anyone. And yeah, I don't know, maybe in the future, who knows, but definitely it's something that I really want to do, to adopt a kid.
That's really great. Okay. What about you, Haisa? Would you ever adopt a child?
Yes. Only if I can afford. Only if I can. It's like you. I think only if I can afford give it for child a good life.
Awesome. And you, Newton, would you ever adopt a child?
Oh, not now, because my wife and I had the opportunity to adopt a child, and we would like in the past to adopt. We had 2 sons and 2 boys, and we would like to have a girl. But by this time, we listened our 2 sons, and they were a child, and they said, "I don't want to have a sister. We don't." So we didn't adopt. Now, in my case, in my case, not I talk, but for me, not for my wife. I repent to listen my 2 sons.
After they grew up, did they start wanting a little sister?
Yeah. Yeah. Now we have 5 grandsons, 5 grandsons, boys.
All boys?
All boys, yes.
Oh my God.
So now we have grandsons to help our sons to take care too. So I'm not.
Yeah, no, you've got 5 boys to take care. That's already a big troop. Good luck, buddy.
Yes.
Awesome. What about you, Levi? Would you ever adopt a child?
Yeah. I could think about it, but down the road in the future. So I really see this like a good thing in the world. I was this more by propose. Yeah, it's necessary.
Got it. Yeah, it's very good to think and like to see if you see yourself doing it in the future or not. It's really important because we're dealing with lives, and that's kind of really serious. Okay, you guys. Would any of you like to say anything or to add anything before we finish here?
My opinion, it's that good time to train my English. It's a lot of time that I don't have this opportunity. I like so much to continue to do this.
That is really great. I'm really happy that you liked it. Really happy you liked it and you enjoyed. And whenever you need, we're here on TNT every day, all day for you. So you can just join us. Okay.
Okay.
It's really great. Okay, guys. So I want to thank you all for coming, and I'll be leaving here the link of the feedback. Okay. We've always got feedbacks at the end of the immersions classes and everything. So if you guys can please open the link before you leave, okay, and leave the feedback telling what you thought about the questions, topic, TNT, the project, the host. You guys can give your opinions about what you think so we can keep on improving, okay, our products and how we're working here. And also, this conversation we've just had, it's on YouTube. So if you guys want to watch, or please also leave a comment and a like, because this helps us to reach more people and let them know that TNT exists so they can practice their English and learn languages with us as well. Okay? Guys, don't worry, thank you a lot for this conversation, and really hope you guys enjoyed, and have an amazing night, you all.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye.
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 And you person watching me on YouTube right now, yes, I'm talking to you. If you can understand me, it means you can speak in English. And if you can speak in English, it means you can come here to TNT and practice with us. It's for free. You can join us. You can practice English, French, Spanish, German, and Italian too. 5 languages for free. Want to participate? Just go to talkandtalk.com.br and schedule a conversation right now. We're going to be waiting for you in here. Okay, so that's it, Teacher Junior.